Hey guys, welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. Today we're going to do a real quick painting. I have a group that I'm in that the challenge was to do something with a black background. So I'm doing a 6x6 canvas. It's a 3D canvas, so it's 1.5 inches thick. And I'm starting with the black background. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a quick Christmas wreath on it using a palette knife. We will go through, and when we put the bow on, we're going to use a brush for that. But this is real quick, real easy, and there is nothing to get hung up with on this one. I didn't even trace out a circle for the wreath to give me an idea. I just winged it, and it's not necessarily completely perfectly round, and that's okay. It's really cute, and that is what matters, is that you like it. So if you want to start with something that's perfectly round, go ahead and just trace a circle onto your canvas that you're choosing to use. I just chose to wing it. So however you want to do it, what colors you use really does not matter. Just a bunch of different greens. I am using DIY clay-based paint for mine, but it would work well with acrylic or any other paint as well. So I'm going to speed it up, and I'll do a voiceover of it so that you guys have a step-by-step, but you aren't going to have to sit and watch for the entire process of the painting. All right, thank you, and let's get started. Okay, so we're just starting with that basic black background. I'm doing not only the front, but the sides, just so that it's complete all the way around. Now I'm just taking a palette knife. I've got a dark green. This is called Monet's Garden. And I'm just going to go through and put in the basic shape of my wreath. And as you can tell as I go along, I don't get it completely perfectly circular, and that's okay. By time I got it all done, it worked out well and it was super cute. So like I said earlier, if you want this to be a perfect circle, go ahead and take a small plate or whatever you've got that will fit on the canvas and draw a circle on there, and that will give you a guide. But for me, I'm just going to wing it, and by time we get all of it done, it will look really cute, and it won't matter that it's not a perfect circle. Alright, and so now I'm just going in with Fancy Farm Girl and adding it here and there as a contrast to the darker Monet's Garden. Now here was a little bit of a surprise. I took mermaid tail and went in. It's kind of a blue-green, but I really like the contrast of it. So you can kind of jump outside the box sometimes on the colors that you choose, and it's still going to look really good. Now I'm taking the side of my palette knife, and I believe that this is Apothecary, and I'm just going through and putting in kind of like twig looking adornments to it versus the actual leaves. So we're just using the side of the palette knife. Alright, and now we've got some mint chip, and I'm just going to go through, oh no, this is Salty Kiss. And I'm just going to go through and add it here and there. I'm just trying to build lights and darks
and build my wreath up so that it's got some depth and some character to it. Okay, so now I am doing some more of the twigs. I took some Fancy Farm Girl and I took some yellow and mixed it together to get a much more yellow-green mixture. Fancy Farm Girl kind of has that yellow tone to it anyway, and I like the brightness that I got by adding yellow to it. And as you can see, my cat Ziva came to help us paint today. She does that often, but she likes to get in my water and steal my paint lids, and so we have to get after her just a little bit. Okay, so now we're just going to go through and we're going to add some berries in here and there to get that pop of red. And this is, I believe it's Carnival Red that I'm using on this. All right, so up until this point, I have not worried about having it dry at all as I've been building the layers with the palette knife, but now I did let it dry before I started adding my bow. I'm just doing a basic white color right now as the base of the bow, and getting my shape in there, and I'm just laying down a basic base for it that the colors will pop off of. Now, what I will do that you don't see is I did go through, scrape off that top layer to get some of those under layers down. I didn't like the bulk of that underneath the bow, so I did scrape off that paint, reapply the white, and now I'm just going through and I'm taking Carnival Red and putting in, I took Cherry Picked first, and now it's Carnival Red, and I'm just doing a check pattern to the bow itself. Here in a second we'll get some gold paint in there, and do some accents on those lines. And then when I get that part done, I'm liking the way it's looking, but it's a little bright with the white in the background. And so I still wanted it light, but I didn't want it white. And so I go through and I get some cake batter and I go in just a little bit in between all of the little boxes that are left white, and put some cake batter in there, and I liked that a lot better, and I left a little bit of white showing, and then the cake batter, and then the gold and the cherry picked and the red in the check, and it turned out just adorable. Now I think that you can see on the video that adding this cake batter is just giving it more depth and dimension, and it just really set the bow off. Okay, so this step is optional, and I just really enjoy doing this to these 6x6 canvases. This just adds a little bit of aging and a little bit of a border around the edges. Completely optional on your part if you want to do this or you don't. I did do this in gray. We're going to stencil Joy in the center of the wreath here in a moment, and it will match the gray that we just put around the edges. Now you do want to let your wreath fully dry before you put your stencil up here and stencil this in. But this is our last step, and we'll be done with this cute little painting.
Guys, this is what we did. Again, on a 6x6 by 1.5 canvas, it stands up really nicely on its own, so it's perfect for a shelf sitter or a tablescape, or of course you can hang it on a wall. If you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell so you get notified, leave me comments of what you think or what you'd like to see me try to do next time, and share with your friends because it really helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it. All right, I appreciate you guys stopping in and watching today, and you guys have a wonderful week. See you next week.